In this episode, we're going to look at an old legend making big waves with his performances. Also, we check out Freestyle and wonder what would happen if we got a rating. Would Magnus Carlsen make his 2900 like he has discussed wanting to achieve? And there's a youngster who has a very disappointing performance in the freestyle. It's sunny, it's May, and that means another episode of World Rankings with Hammer and Howell. Let's talk about the changes within the FIDE standard classical ratings, and in particular, the top 5.
Yeah, and to put things short and sweet, there were no changes. There were simply no big elite tournaments, at least not in traditional chess, no classical chess this month. In April, the kind of main highlight for some of the players around the top 10 was the German league, the Bundesliga, and a bit lower down outside the top 5, there were some very small changes. But ultimately, no change at the top. Magnus still number 1, Hikaru, Gukesh, Erigaisi, and Caruana.
And I'm trying to go down here. Abdusattorov loses 2 points. Wesley wins 3 points. Mamedyarov loses 2 points. In the top 20, there's no double-digit movement in any direction.
No, it feels like the players, they're saving it up. I think we can afford them a break. Much deserved for a lot of the players who are very active later in the year with the likes of the Grand Swiss, the World Cup. There's bound to be some big shifts, but for now, a quiet month.
That means let's move on to the top 3 losers of the month. Not big changes there either, but the number 1 spot is a familiar face. A fellow Norwegian, well, you're half Norwegian so far, I guess, David.
Yeah.
A fellow Norwegian up top on the list you do not want to be top of, minus 16 points for Johann Sebastian Christiansen.
Yeah, and we both know him very well, Johann Sebastian. He plays a lot of open tournaments. He kind of plays more often, more regularly than most grandmasters. He's constantly traveling and normally does very well. He picks up a lot of points from open tournaments, not easy to do, but he played in the German league for my team, St. Pauli. He lost all 3 games on board 1, hence his 16-point drop. And yeah, tough month for him, but I'm sure he'll be back.
That is rough. Minus 16 in only 3 games. Really goes to showcase. He has said he's been really kind of working those. He's playing a lot of opponents who's more than 400 points lower rated than him. But he's so good at consistently winning those that he's been making some big gains over the last year, 2 years. And he stated that he wants to make 2,700. That is his big goal. But yeah, this kind of proves that getting to 2,700 is no easy feat.
Yeah, it's the F word, farming. And it's hard to do, right? Farming the way your way back to the, into the elite. He's never made 2,700 before. I believe that's a very elite club here in Norway.
Yeah, no, there's only 2 Norwegians who has ever made 2,700, and one of them is not Simen Augustin. That is Magnus Carlsen. And the other guy is yours truly.
Wow.
And, you know, they talk about people dragging the ladder up behind them as not a very nice thing to do. But at the same time, I'm pretty happy being one of 2 where the other guy is, you know,
nice,
one of
cozy
the greatest of all time.
Yeah, so we'll see with Johann Sebastian. I'm sure he'll be back, but yeah, he's yet to prove himself, I feel, against the very best players in the German league. It's very tough at the top.
Let's move to the winners, and there is a legend up top there, Vasily Ivanchuk, former number 2 in the world, a legend through his love for chess, but also his mimicry and behavior sometimes. But now he played 27 games in 19 days, and he manages to win 40 points.
It's incredible. He's 56 now, but just the stamina to play so many games in so few days. There was travel involved as well for him. He was unbeaten in those 27 games in April, gaining 40 points. I mean, unless you're a kind of under 18, unless you're a kid with a high K factor, it's so tough to do that. And nice to see him have this kind of resurgence. It's been a tough few months for him. He went viral in December. World Blitz was tough for him. He lost a winning position against Naroditsky on time, and his tournament fell apart there. But it feels like he's back. Thinking of a rating system with Ivanchuk under 2600 is, it's not a world I want to witness. So the fact that he's climbing back where he belongs is nice to see. And like you said, world number 2 in 1991, 34 years ago, and he's still proving he can hang with the best.
Are we seeing a new Korchnoi in the making? Remember Korchnoi? I mean, I know you do, but I want to remind the viewers as well. Korchnoi was a challenger to Karpov back in the day, and he still was a very decent grandmaster at 80 years old.
Yeah, he beat Fabiano Caruana. Actually, sitting on the board next to me, he beat Fabiano Caruana when he was 80. Caruana was already in the top 10 in the world at the time. Korchnoi was incredible, a legend through his love for chess and also his personality. And I think likewise, Ivanchuk, Planet Chucky, we call it. And he still needs a bit of time, 24 years until he can make it into his 80s. I don't know how he's going to maintain a level for that long, but no, very impressive either way.
Yes, Ivanchuk compared, he's a youngster still.
He's light years away from Korchnoi levels of chess.
At that age, at the very least. So when Ivanchuk started playing, the first tournament he played was Reykjavik. He then went to Spain, no rest day between the tournaments. And then he played 2 tournaments in Spain back to back and no rest day between the 2 Spanish tournaments either. Several of these tournaments had 2 games in one day on multiple occasions. The craziest thing about this to me is that the number 2 guy, Liu from China, he did the same thing.
Exactly, and maybe that's just a recipe for success. Play Spanish Opens. I don't know what it is, but actually the top 3 gainers, they all played in Reykjavik, and of course Maizulu was the winner there, but they went on to the next tournament. Ivanchuk came joint first, missed out on tiebreak. The third tournament in Menorca, he won it, Ivanchuk, 8 out of 9. Ivanchuk and Liu Shanglei undefeated across those 27 games. It's just incredible. I don't think I could manage that. I couldn't have managed just playing that number of games in that number of days, let alone that performance. So, wonderful to watch.
Ivanchuk winning 1 tournament with that gain, almost incredible in itself that you only win 1. But Liu, he didn't win a single tournament, but still gains a tremendous amount of points.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, at least in terms of prize money, it wasn't as successful maybe, but I don't know. I think he would take the rating gain. Like rating gain, tournament victories. I don't know what the priority is, but either way, Liu Shanglei, did well too.
Yeah, now it's all about riding that wave. And speaking of riding the wave, the number 3 placed player here, Parham Magsudolu, not only did he win in Reykjavik, he had other successes as well.
That's right, Magsudolu victorious in Iceland, but he went on a bit later, maybe riding that confidence wave to perform extremely well in the Grenka Freestyle Open. He came second to Magnus Carlsen. I think we can call him best of the rest, Magsudolu. Nobody could compete with Magnus there. But yeah, he came second on tiebreak. It was an up and down tournament for him, a roller coaster, but he earns a ticket to the next Freestyle Grand Slam as well in Vegas. So maybe unlike the likes of kind of Liu Shanglei, Magsudolu is going to get his chances to kind of stamp his place there and show he belongs in the world's elite.
Speaking of that freestyle tournament, we saw the top 5, not many changes whatsoever. but we have had lots of changes, or rather lots of games played in the freestyle format, because we've had the the Weissenhaus tournament in February, but now the Paris Grand Slam in this April, followed directly thereafter by the Grenke Chess tournament. Both tournaments won by the same player.
That's right. Magnus Carlsen, he did it in style. He was actually a bit unwell during the Paris tournament. A certain someone might have passed on a bug to him. I don't know who that could have been. But Magnus, he actually had a quite bad cold. He was struggling a bit with health in Paris. He ended up winning that one. He beat Hikaru in the final there, and then he went to Grenke straight on a couple of days later, and 9 out of 9. Just one of the best performances in history. 100% scores in kind of these big tournaments. They're almost unheard of since the days of Fischer in 1964. And yeah, just felt like something clicked for Magnus.
You can't really do much better than the 9 out of 9, but seeing as how Magnus took the top spot, that meant the second place got the ticket to Las Vegas, and Magsudulu made that happen for himself. But there were some juicy moments there towards the final round.
That's right, and Magsudulu just very unlucky to lose to Magnus a bit beforehand, but in the final round he was completely winning against Dominguez. He let it slip, it was only a draw, there were tears. Magsudulu was upset that the crowd were applauding Magnus. Ultimately though, on tiebreak, he got that golden ticket to Vegas. And yeah, Magsudulu, an Iranian grandmaster, he's very, very talented. We've both played him, very creative. I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in future months.
With this freestyle dominating the games played by the top players, we've decided that today's, or rather this month's, special theme that we delve a bit deeper into is what would happen if freestyle had their own ratings. David, you've put together some numbers based on how the players performed in the freestyle Weissenhaus and the freestyle Paris and the Grenke tournaments.
That's right, and the focus was just on the classical game, so putting aside the rapid, we weren't looking at Freestyle Friday, for example. It was just the long format of freestyle, and yeah, we looked into the performance ratings specifically based on the starting point there being the traditional chess FIDE ratings we see on the left-hand column. Let's ignore that for a while and look to the right, because that shows some shifts, some changes. Magnus, of course, out on top. And having played 21 games, we should mention, 6 in Weissenhaus, 6 in Paris, and 9 in Grenke. Those are astronomical numbers by Magnus.
So the fact that Magnus has this incredible rating, over 2,900, but also having the most games played, it could mean that he will actually be able to maintain that performance. I assume it's going to go down a little, that things are going to even out. But he could end the year staying above 2,900 in his performance, much thanks to this incredible 9 out of 9 in Grenke.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to drop, though, his performance, if anyone can stop him. And the way he's been playing, just kind of grinding people out, attacking when he can in freestyle. He seems to have mastered the opening stages there. Yeah, he's definitely on course for that coveted 2,900 performance. But yeah, some other big moves, though. Maybe some unexpected kind of high performers, some unexpected strugglers in terms of freestyle performance in the classical games this year so far.
Yeah, because at the bottom of this list, we have 2 of the very talented youngsters, but the most bottom of those, the world champion Gukesh. What's going on with him?
Yeah, Gukesh, it's well documented by now that he just struggles at freestyle chess. I think Rapid and Blitz also something he wants to shake off this tag of struggling there. But remember, these are the classical games in Weissenhaus in Paris. He played 8 of them in total. 6 in Weissenhaus. He struggled. He lost 2-0 to Fabiano Caruana. He's winless in classical freestyle this year so far. He only played 2 games in Paris. He ended up coming in a kind of joint 11th place there, but ultimately Gukesh he just seems like a different player in freestyle chess.
I'm a bit surprised by this because my assumption, not having delved very deeply into the numbers, is that the freestyle tournaments have quite a bit of rapid games. And it's pretty well known at this point that Gukesh is not as good with less time on the clock than he is when he gets all that time to think and calculate and really play to his strengths. So I was surprised by this, that even in the classical games, he's just not doing well.
Yeah, we should mention it's a small sample size for Gukesh. It's only 8 games, the fewest of anyone on the list. But 8 games he's lost 4 and drawn 4 in total in classical. So yeah, it's been a struggle so far.
Also a surprise to me, Abdusaturov at the bottom here. Because he's not done so poorly in terms of placements in the freestyle tournaments, but he's getting a lot of his... the fact that he's getting decent placements is more thanks to his rapid play than his classical.
Exactly. Abdusaturov, it feels like always he's banking his spot in the top 8. He's getting into the quarterfinals because he's so good in the round robin in the rapid. But yeah, this actually was the most surprising stat to me. I crunched the numbers, I double-checked, triple-checked Abdusaturov. I was like, surely he can't be doing that badly in the classical. But yeah, he's just losing a lot of matches 2-0. It feels like he's giving up when he's behind in matches. And yeah, the classical just not clicking for him so far. Running out of steam, it feels like, against the very top players in the world.
And at the top, together with Magnus, we have Hikaru Nakamura. He's very consistent.
Yeah, super consistent. And although in the Weissenhaus Grand Slam back in February, he was knocked out in the quarterfinals, that wasn't due to the classical games that he drew in that match. And we saw, throughout the rest of that tournament and in Paris that he really is a beast in this format. Of course, he won the Fischer Random World Championship in 22, so I think freestyle suits him in general. But he's only lost 1 classical game, and that was to Magnus.
And 2 of the guys who have the biggest improvements compared to their classical rating, Magsudulu, who we will get to see in the freestyle Las Vegas coming up in July, thanks to his second place at Grenke, but also Kamer. Of course Kamer's there, right? He was in the semifinal in both freestyle events so far.
Yeah, exactly. He won Weissenhaus, super impressive, beating Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, Alireza Fruja, all in the classical format. He didn't need tiebreaks at all there. In Paris, he struggled a bit more in the classical, but Grenke, a very good performance as well, only losing to Magnus Carlsen. And yeah, I think we can safely say he is the big breakout star in freestyle chess this year.
Unless Magsudulu tops him somehow in Vegas. That is to be seen for the next couple of months. Speaking of the coming months, the month of May, which we will summarize in June, does have some classical chess with the biggest of the names.
That's right. There is a tournament happening on the Grand Chess Tour, but I'm actually most looking forward to Norway Chess at the end of May. That one we'll have to summarize in July because it finishes in June. But the top players in the world, Magnus, Hikaru, Gukesh, and others will be facing off against each other.
That's something to look forward to. But until then, see you next time.